but they can talk, they can speak to their local public.
Zainab, would you like to pick up on this point?
Yeah, this is a very important point regarding the Arab scientists and the Arab journalists, science journalists, because most of our scientists get their study from the West, and or even in our countries they get their they study in English or in French. So this makes them sometimes unable to communicate to the journalists in Arabic. We have a problem sometimes we are consumers of science most of the time. We get science from Western universities, from Western research institutions. So with all this fast development in science, and it's very hard sometimes to translate it directly into your language and make people understand these new findings, and it's very difficult. So maybe part of the problem with in the communication between scientists and journalists is this language problem. Maybe Dr. Mashaka can talk about it also.
Yeah, I think it could definitely be a huge problem in terms of the technical details and so on. But again, I go back to the point that you don't have to use these technical terms. You can make it simple enough that you can use regular lay language to make people understand it. Don't get stuck on the technical terms. It's not important. It's not important what a scientist calls, you know, a new development, you know. You can make it simple enough that, and I think you can report much better if you do that.
But you have to have scientists who are aware of other ways of expressing. I mean, the use of metaphors, for example.
I mean, scientists by definition are technical people. You know, they're very specialized. You know, all day long they're thinking about their nitty-gritty area of research, and they don't think when they talk technical. It's the onus on the journalist to say, what does that mean again? Explain it to me in lay terms, and then take it to the public. It's not, I mean, the scientists, you know, they're so into what they're doing that they're not thinking about whether it's technical or not.
But for example, let us talk about an example, stem cells. How do you translate it in Arabic? We had different translation in Arabic about stem cells. So would it be خلايا جذعية أو خلايا المنشأ? There were different translation, and at the end we try as journalists to talk to each other and try to find what is the best technical word to use for these kind of things. So we try to share our experience in this.
But you're talking about evolving a common vocabulary, but that will come when there is more science and there is more communication of science in the region. We had to develop this in the West. We didn't have these sort of, in a sense, many Western journalists have a toolkit of words that we can use because we're now used to communicating in English, and I'm sure this is true in French. This is part of the process. But the thing is that the best way is to evolve it together, not separately. Journalists have their language, scientists have their toolkit. You need to have a combined toolkit.
In a way, it doesn't matter what you call it initially. Call it whatever you want and define it to the audience. You know, stem cells are cells that can differentiate in different types. Call it whatever you want, doesn't matter. The message is there. They're going to understand what you're talking about. That's what's important, you know. The next day, you know, and maybe if you call it that in your article, maybe you've coined a term in Arabic for something.
Well, there's something to aspire to. You can all start making your own science terms and having your mark on the discipline.
Two things. First, a science program could be married to another type of program with breaking news, with another type of program. I have an anecdote. So Gervais, who is Cameroonese, okay, saw me in television yesterday. During the break, during the match, the football match, Cameroon, I don't know, against, okay?
Between the two matches.
Okay, between the two matches, or on the break of the match, I don't know, he saw me. on TV5, okay? TV5, worldwide French-speaking satellite television. So it's a good marriage for me between sport and science. So it's possible to put science on a sport program.
But Patrice, the real triumph of science journalism is when they put the football match in between your program.
But I've done it. I've done it. Football can be mathematics, but it's very complex. So I've done it in my program. And the second, it's you have to know that I'm at the heart of a network, a worldwide network. I make some free exchanges of images, of part of reports, of complete reports or complete documentaries with some other TV around the world, with Canada, with Switzerland, with Finland, with Germany, with Czech Republic, for example. So, and we have a platform, and we can enrich our own programs with the production of the other. And if one day Al Jazeera decides to produce a regular scientific program, I can say only one thing: welcome on board, welcome with you, with us.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Zainab.
Well, I'd like to see two things happening. First of all, I'd like to see science education